workplace or school, like under a sturdy table, desk, bed, or against an interior wall away from glass windows and doors.
Practice drop, cover, and hold on in your safe area. Secure items that could fall and place large and heavy objects on lower shelves. Know how to turn off electricity, gas, and water by learning the location of safety valves and main switches.
Be prepared.
Be safe.
A message from the Office of Disaster Management brought to you by USAID and IOM.
Take some advice from your Aunt Angie. Don't lie on your resume. Because if you say you've got trapeze experience, someone might shoot you out of a cannon and expect you to do a gymnast routine while flying through the air at 82 miles an hour. And just because you want to land on your feet doesn't mean you will. But if you're smart, you'll have CG United Medical Insurance, so you get the best coverage for the price.
Get the best coverage for the price. CG United. Good like that. All benefits are subject to policy provisions, including eligibility at the time of service.
Want to stay ahead in the world of electronic communications? Then you've got to check out Excel Bytes, a production of the Eastern Caribbean Telecommunications Authority. We dive into the hottest topics affecting the telecom sector, from the latest innovations to the policies shaping your digital future. Tune in to Excel Bytes on the last 3 Thursdays of this month, September 12th, 19th, and 26th. In the digital world, knowledge is your greatest asset.
As we climax the month of the seniors, Creole Helmet faces up with 2 of the greatest sports personalities from the Nature Eye. This Friday, September 27th from 11 a.m. on the big station Q95 FM. Willie Plastic Leblanc, formerly of Cardinals, and Edgar Robert Robinson, formerly of Hawks. 2 former national basketballers, 2 of the most successful coaches in the history of Dominica. Willie Plastic Leblanc and Edgar Robert Robinson will take center stage on Creole Helmet this Friday on the big station. Sponsored by Digicel and hosted by Prince Wadix. And will also be live on Q95 Facebook page and YouTube channel. 2 basketball Hall of Famers, 2 national sports iconic treasures, 2 national MVPs, Plastic and Rubber. Join us on the most decorated cultural hour on the big station Q95 FM this Friday, September 27th, 11 a.m. Be part of this historic experience. Plastic and Rubber on Creole Helmet, connecting Dominica to its history. Creole Helmet, a front row seat into the culture of Dominica.
Go to your favorite store, dial it now. 612-1253. That's Mega. You can rely on Mega for some real deals on name brand clothing and electronics. High quality, low price. We are a wholesale and retail store located in Calabishi, right on the main road. Check us out on Facebook, Instagram as Mega Deals Dominica. Like our page. Check out our stuff. Call us. Visit us. Would appreciate that. Come try it on. Love it. Buy it at Mega Deals. Your one and only online and brick and mortar store. Mega Deals is also on wheels. We make it convenient for your shopping. We deliver straight to your door. Email us at info@megadealsda.com. Rely on Mega Deals for some real deals.
The government of Dominica, the cultural division.
Okay, good evening. And welcome to your favorite sports program in Dominica, really. And on a Thursday night, it's been raining for the past few days. I mean, I'm sure a lot of the farmers don't mind that, particularly those on the savannah and a place like Collio, Grandfa as well. We only hope Dr. Fontaine in places like Riviera Sirico. I saw a video sometime yesterday where there was some problems. So I hope everybody's okay. But we're having a lot of rain. And good evening, I'm Lockhart Sebastian, and together with me is
Ron Lander
and Emmanuel Loblack.
Dr. Thompson Fontaine, good evening.
Right, so we have the full crew on time. Tonight we have a packed program. We're going to have the chess lady, the PRO, who will join us in studio for the first part. Red Spirit will also talk to us. You know, tomorrow, guys, there's a big fete in St. Lucia for the Spring Queen public holiday. So Reds will talk to us about that, as well as the netball in the going on in St. Lucia. We have the PRO football of the football. We talk football as well in England and elsewhere. And CPL coming to its conclusion. 2 test matches going on. One started last night, one starting tonight, and Sri Lanka going very well in the first test against New Zealand. So a lot of stuff for people tonight. I'm sure a lot of people home tonight. So a lot of people who listen to us on Facebook and YouTube will give them a real good show because it's been raining, guys. I don't know, Dr. Funke Lobby, how's the weather by you guys?
Well, first of all, where I am, Sebastian, in Jersey, it's not as frightening as right now in Florida.
Okay.
Because you know that there's a hurricane which is very imminent tonight, you know. So that will be, I think, the 4th or the 5th land storms hitting the US states for this year. So I
Well,
think
you have to say thanks God here, Lobby, that we almost clear. We still don't want to talk too early, Dr. Fountain. I know you're the expert in that.
Well, Sibo,
we don't want to talk too early, eh?
Sibo, first of all, they told us when we were at school that September, remember, October all over. It's no more.
All right. But nowadays you can get hurricane only in November now.
December, obviously.
That could happen. So we don't want to talk too early, but let everything work out for us, man. Because
so far, you have to just thank the Almighty Father for safety. That's the most important thing, Sebastian.
Yes.
We don't mind the rain in Dominica because, you know.
I'm sure every farmers don't mind that.
Besides that, we don't flow. Whatever wherever the rain, the water is accumulated, it will dissipate it, you know, quickly compared to other countries in the Caribbean.
Yeah,
yes,
I'm sure my friend Steve, who plants melon from Colby Street, I'm sure he's happy. You know, in fact, right now by Beauty Wise, right there, and people who interested $2 a slice from him. Steve, he's a blue van.
Now, guys, I love melon, Sebastian.
Well, yeah, he's there. He's doing well. He's there right now, close to Beauty Wise, going towards KFC there with his van from Colby Street, his blue van, and a load of melon. So people who are looking for nice melon.
You still get your regular jelly water, Sebastian?
Well, you have to do that, Lobby. You have to survive. Anyway, Dr. Fountain, I want to congratulate you and the members of UWP, Mr. Linton, Ronald Charles, everybody for this case. And you know, I want to say this is not a UWP thing. This should be a thing for Dominica. Because to be honest, you cannot have a man working for you and he's spending money and he's like he has no regard for you. Your money he's spending, when you ask about it, Tom will tell you go to hell or all sort of nonsense like that. So people need to get clarity on this thing because this thing is a vexing issue and there must be some conclusion. It cannot go on, and this is a good thing. And I'm appealing to people out there to keep contributing to help the lawyer because it's going to cost money to pay lawyers for a case like that. Well, I heard the senior counsel say it might go all the way to the privy council, so money will be required. So people must contribute because this thing is a vexing issue. And you know what gets me upset sometimes, guys? When people that's supposed to know better will come out at press conferences and ask foolishness. Like I heard from the people from DBS asking, well, the critics might say, Labour Party might say about housing and so on. If you ask even the people in the cabinet how much money have you spent on housing, they don't know. And as I say, me personally, that is not your party, Dr. Fountain. I have a serious issue with this housing thing. In that, no problem in giving people who really need housing, but it cannot be that people choose for political convenience who must get houses, the wrong people getting houses, and really, it's for votes. The houses are given for votes, not for people who really need it. And I can tell you, right in Collyho, in Platinum here, there's a lady who lived in England. She was married to a man from Collyho. That lady must be in her 80s. The husband died. She's from Vickers. They gave her a house in Platinum here. And people who actually need the houses, like Hiram Charles, don't get. So this thing must be pursued, Dr. Fountain. And I want to say hats off to you guys.
Yes, thanks a lot, Sibo. You know, and I don't think Dominicans truly appreciate that the monies generated from the CBI belongs to them. It belongs to the Dominican public. It does not belong to an individual. It does not belong to the Prime Minister. It belongs collectively to the Dominican public. And that's what we are trying to do. We are simply trying through the courts, which reinforces our constitution, which reinforces our laws, we are simply asking the courts to rule or to compel the government of Dominica to take these monies out of wherever they are overseas and put them back in the treasury of Dominica. That's all we're asking. Very simple. Those monies, the hundreds of millions of dollars that are out there in bank accounts, in offshore jurisdictions, in individuals' bank accounts, monies that were made because of the sale of Dominican passports. We are simply asking the courts to reinforce the Constitution, reinforce the laws of Dominica, which dictates that all monies generated by the government of Dominica must, in other words, shall come through the consolidated fund. It must come through the treasury. And so that's what we're asking. It's a very straightforward case. Legally, it's a very straightforward, very uncomplicated, very straightforward. And we're hoping that the court will move quickly to rule on this. It's also a landmark case because it has never been done before. But it's something I'm very happy that we're able to do. And I really want to thank the many Dominicans who contributed. You know, I remember about a year ago, when I made the announcement at our convention that we are going to pursue this particular case, the same day out at the convention, somebody texted me, I will give $5,000 towards this. And that started it, in terms of not already started because we had already collected significant sums because it's been a while we've been working on this. Previous to that, we had individuals from Dominica who had contributed as much as 20,000 EC dollars to the cause. And so we were able with these initial investments to go ahead and hire top-class legal representation. And you heard the clarity with which the senior counsel was able to talk about the case, what it is that he is pursuing, what the issues are legally in a way that all Dominicans can understand. And as you rightly said, Sibo, it's not about the United Workers' Party. Mm-hmm. This is about Dominica, and that's why I'm hoping that all of Dominica will support it, because after all, we're talking about putting money back to ensure that our NEP workers can get paid on time, to ensure that the scores of contractors who have been owed by this government will get paid on time, to ensure that our debt burden can be lessened. We can pay down on our debt. We can provide medicines, paracetamol, bandage, gauze to our hospital. We can provide erasers and chalk to our school so that teachers don't have to push their hand in their pocket to buy supplies for the schools. That's what we're talking about. So it's something that impacts every single Dominican. And I hope that Dominicans will support. We are still taking your support. The way to contribute is to go to da-dominica.com and support this effort.
Before Ronald and Lobby come in, as you rightly said, and both of us said that it's not a Europe thing, it's a Dominica, even labor rights. And here is a labor right, and he said, call his name, Peter Karam, sent in a text, and he said, can you on my behalf, please request of the Ministry of Housing, plus all the engineers, architects, including Prime Minister's office, to please put up a huge billboard outside every single housing apartment built, every health center, La Plaine, Portsmouth, Bellevue Roll, Scott's Head, Marigot Hospital, every single CBI funded project, the total cost plus the total passport citizenship sold that finance every single project. And then he's saying that, what is it, for all the other, the blasted public house must know how CBI money is being spent. Sacque gas, he said. Ronald, that Peter Karam said.
His words, not yours.
Yeah, I'm reading, and I can say to you, all well, he just said that. And as you said, it's not really UWP, it's a Dominican thing. People want to know how their money is being spent. Ronald?
Yes. This current government had such a good opportunity to transform the economy. You had a situation where you have interest-free working capital, a significant amount of interest-free working capital that you could have put into the productive sectors of the economy, into agriculture, into water production, bottled water, into manufacturing, into transforming of goods and services, into tourism. Because the only way a small state economy can develop is either you have goods and services that you export or you bring in persons to consume goods and services. And the working capital was there to do that. I'm not too sure what that working capital, that significant amount of billions of dollars, was used to do. So I think it's a brilliant initiative to ask for accountability. Where did that money go to? And you look around in Dominica now, you look around, you look at our infrastructure, you look at our productive sector. We're not exporting anything in any quantities. And we're still planning to build an airport. We're still planning to build a marina. We don't have a proper cruise ship berth. And we see other countries like St. Kitts, who had that similar program, has been able to transform. They've got their problems too, but they've used that interest-free working capital to transform their economy. It's unfortunate that the political directorate have surrounded themselves with certain persons that do not have the ability to assist them. They are loyalists and just occupy positions in government and don't make any significant contribution. And consequently, Dominica is going into a deep, dark hole. And very soon, we've got to find a way of taking Dominica out of this deep, dark hole. We've got to do something about that.
Lobby, you care to comment, Lobby?
Yes, that's I just hope that this thing, everything goes well, and as doctor said that it will be it moves expeditiously in the court.
Yeah, because this thing is just a vexing issue, man. When you had the nonsense, oh, look around you, look at the housing. What housing? How much money? Nobody knows. You hear people saying, oh, a house cost $300 and something thousand. These people cannot tell people how much money. They cannot. They have no figures, nothing. They don't know. Just throwing up figures out there. Oh, it's 300,000, 400,000, and talking about look around, and you have a man from DBS comes in a thing and saying, well, yeah, people can see roads and nonsense like that and housing, and nobody knows, and you're giving who, and we all live in Dominica. We know very well what the houses are used for. We live here, all of us. We know.
If you look at the housing, all the houses are foreign designs. We don't involve any of our architects in Dominica to make money. And in building up the houses, we brought in people from China. And the way they walked around, they looked like prisoners from China to build those houses. We brought in the goods, the things that you need to build the houses. All that was brought in from China. And consequently, the development of those houses did not have the induced economic impact on our economy. This is very significant. You can imagine if all those houses were done by Dominicans, with Dominicans architects, with Dominicans mason, with Dominican carpenters, the kind of money that would have been in circulation in Dominica. There is no money in circulation because those houses were done by Chinese. All the goods to build those houses were done by Chinese. And my technical friends are saying to me that the quality is very poor.
But the thing about it, there was no tendering done. If I stand in Collier, they build a health center. Not one person from Collier work in the health center. And that is a fact. Nobody can challenge me on that. Nobody from Collier work in the health center. And that is the problem where they bring this guy, a man comes, he have all his shining, they build a health center there. They put in apartment over there. Local fellas not getting job. No tendering. Nobody know how much they're paying these people. Nobody knows how much they're paying these people. We have a caller. Good evening.
Good evening, gentlemen. How you all doing?
Very well.
But can you imagine you give a man to sell food for you, right? In your garden, he probably in your garden, he plants it, and you know how much dashing he's going to rip up there. You give it to him to sell. And when you give it to him to sell, he's taking the money and he giving somebody else the money to use. And you're not seeing the benefit, the real benefit of the money. That is exactly what we are going in before our passport. Man selling our passport at his own whim and fancy, using our money to do whatever he wants on the other side of the globe, and we now getting the pittance to all of it. And people tell you they're not the apartments. When you come in down the first state, I don't know, they're getting the materials to build the apartments. Even the paint. Look at the financial center. How long since the financial center, Jessibo?
What, 10, 15, 20 years about that?
Look at the paint on it. Have ever gotten a paint job? No. Look at the new apartments by the riverside that just built. Look at the quality of the paint on it. Like it's making fungus and mildew on it. The quality of the material. And look at the people that live in the apartment. A lot of the people that live in the apartment can afford to pay for a house to live. They have their bus, they have nice cars. Look at it. And some people that wanted to live, they can't get it, and you have to be flying a different color to get it. That is nonsense. We can't take that nonsense. So we will do what we have to do to help them, because they can spin all their spin doctors, spin it all how they want and say what people never say. But God is a good God. He don't like ugly. Bye-bye.
And it must be emphasized that it's nothing against housing. But people in Dominica need housing for sure, but it must be done properly. Nothing against housing. The more housing, the better. The more people who can get housing for shelter, because there still are a lot of people since after the hurricane who don't have a proper shelter to rest themselves.
Sibo, also in line with that, the senior council made a very important point when he was asked the question. He says, "But what tells you we could not have gotten 6,000 houses?" Exactly. Instead of the 3,000 that we get. So it's all about accountability, and that's what it's all about. Yes, you have 3,000, but it could have been 6,000. It could have been 3,000 with a much higher quality, right?
Let's take this caller. Hold on, Dr.
Continue have those issues.
Hold on. Good evening, caller.
Yes, good evening, Sibo.
Hey, how are you, man?
Good. I'm doing fine. Fine. Good evening to your guests. Special evening to Dr. Thompson Fontaine. United Party has to be commended for the action they have taken for causing that man to account for our money. He behaving as if Dominica is a real estate with his parents before him, and is not accountable to anyone. Had Mr. Linton not asked that question in the House, we would not have known that there is a housing option with accounts overseas. And he said he's going to embarrass Leonard Linton after the financial secretary does the election. Instead, the financial secretary had to run away because she did not want to embarrass herself. So I'm in full support of the action they have taken, and I will be making my contribution. But Sibo, last week, a gentleman was making a reference that if Lockhart Sebastian is in cabinet, he would be more suited in sport than agriculture. And you ask him if he was sending a message to Dr. Thompson Fontaine, but I guess he didn't understand you. But what I want to tell you, Sibo, that there is wood on the ground. Look at Sebastian for the CDB, and I'm not referring to Caribbean Development Bank, I'm not referring to Caribbean.
You're talking about Collier Bishop Dubla. That's what you're talking about.
Collier Dubla Bishop constituency. So, Sibo, you have to make up your mind because I hear you wood on the ground. Look at Sebastian.
We're dealing with sports rap now, anyhow. Sports rap. Yeah, man. Thanks. Nice hearing from you, Andy. But yeah, Dr. Fontaine, and I will stress again, it is nothing. People must, just today I heard they even start doctoring tapes, accusing people of things they didn't say. I mean, how people can be so mischievous? I heard they talk about Ronald Charles's words and these people are so wicked, man. I just cannot imagine that. How
it's desperation. They're frightened. They are frightened. That's what it is. It tells me that these guys are worried.
Of course they are.
Finally, we'll have the light. And, and the question was asked, and people need to understand this. The court can order the government. So, for example, if the court rules in our favor, the court can order the banks where these resources are held to convert this money. So the government can do whatever they want to. But at the end of the day, if a bank with an account of an individual's name is ordered based on its finding to repatriate this money to Dominica, it has no choice but to do it. So there's a very good chance that, assuming that we win, assuming that it goes according to the way we want it, that those monies will in fact come back to Dominica. Assuming, of course, that the monies are still there, that it has been converted into concrete, because that's a real possibility.
Well,
that
right,
monies
exactly.
may have been squandered, may have been converted into skyscrapers probably in Dubai, 97-story skyscrapers, who knows?
But that's a major area for consideration.
1 minute. Let us take this caller. Good evening.
Good evening, Sibo. Good evening, Dr. Fawning, Mr. Lobi, and of course, Lambi, my friend on the console.
And Ronald Lander is here as well.
Gentlemen, good evening.
Yes, good evening.
I'm listening to some distressing conversations and things, but I am glad that finally we've been able to get lawyers to take on this billions of dollars that have not gone into the consolidated fund. It's sad that due to the pressures that the government is putting on the opposition, drain them of their resources, even to live privately to take care of their family. So this is the cause for the delay in doing it, but better late than never. But another thing that I would like to see, though, and this call is going out to Dr. Thompson Fontaine, Ronald Lander, any past financial secretary or any economist in the private sector that past worked in the service. Or I would like them, maybe Mr. Joseph could be involved in a discussion like this, because I don't think the young people understand the issue of government, governance, the role and the function, the question of monetary policy, fiscal policy, inflation, recession, macroeconomic policy, microeconomic policy, the whole development. I would like these persons to have put on a discussion that the young people can understand. They don't have information. We're talking blindly. Most of the conversations are sometimes, distressing to me in the least. People contribute how they can. But I think when we have the ability to get the young people engaged and involved, get them to understand these things, because if you're hearing now $6 billion, $8 billion unaccounted for. Now, what could that have done? Why do we have things so expensive? Why do we have so much poverty? Why is unemployment so high? Why is it that our people they don't even have proper education these days? Because when I was going to school in Standard 3, Standard 4, you knew every minister, you knew every PS, you knew every education officer, you knew these things. We understood these things. You would go on the flat and you see the old men playing dominoes, but you would hear them discussing some headline in the Herald or the Chronicle or the Star or whatever. And these sorts of, we don't hear these things now. So we cannot blame the young people for their inability to participate effectively. I'm not saying this is a sports rap program, but I guess some kind of way, these kind of program, because I understand, well, Dr. Fontaine is unquestionably an economist of great repute. Ronald, I understand him to be a finance person. So we get people along those lines who can discuss, because the financial services sector is critical to the economy, but I don't hear it being discussed. I hear Kerry saying he didn't know that the bank didn't have correspondent banks. This man has nobody on, I don't hear anybody discuss really. The financial services sector is like you have a Lamborghini on your lawn, but there is no petrol in it. It's just a piece of junk. on your loan. That is what the financial
Okay,
services
thank you, caller.
is to the economy.
Thank you, caller. Thank you.
Anyway, let me not take more of your time. Thank you, gentlemen, for the opportunity.
Okay, guys, we have to wind up this section because we have our first guest who is already in studio. So we're going to take our first admin. Good night. I just want to say good night to Angela up in Boston and Geoff Austin as well, Vivian Rene. Donald, I know you listen. All the fans of Ozzy, we have to hail him up because Ozzy, as you know, is no longer in studio. So we have to hail up all the fans of Ozzy. And don't forget to check Steve for your melon down by the market, and all our fans, those in Salisbury, those in Collier, Portsmouth, Gerald Corbett, all of them. Good night. So we'll take our first break now.
When you want me back, what you do? Chop out the CS, better than the red. Go chop out the CS, and they all confess. Chop out the CS, you get more for what they say. Chop out the CS, chop out the CS, yeah. Chop out the CS, chop out the CS. What they say? Chop out the CS. CS family, customer friendly, with free locations, it's so convenient, and our prices they are the nicest. Madam and history, that's where you belong. Oh, tell your mama, tell your papa, shop at the CS. Tell your son and your daughter, shop at the CS. Auntie, nan, and cousin, friend, open power, all of them. Grandma, grandpa, open neighbor, girlfriend, boyfriend, side. What? Shop at the CS. Shop at the CS. Shop at the CS. Shop at the CS. Check us out at Pottersville, High Street, and Downtown Rose.
Rudolph Thomas Enterprise in Portsmouth, your suppliers of building materials and hardware products. Over 20 years experience in the business. Rudolph Thomas has lumber and plywood, Portland and tile cement, steel rods, galvanized and fenced pipe, and Rudolph Thomas can meet all your wire needs. Galvanized roofing sheets, doors, windows, toilet sets, face basins, and bidets. PVC piping, fittings, and lattice. Check out Rudolph Thomas for ceramic and vinyl floor and wall tiles, nails, nuts and bolts, paint and painting supplies. And check out their line of electrical and hand tools. And Rudolph Thomas is your one-stop shop for hard-to-find items like fiberglass mat and fiberglass resin and welding rods. Go now to Rudolph Thomas on 1240 Bay Street in Portsmouth.
Looking for a quiet, relaxing place to stay? Call Porter's Place Guest House. Leaving the office late and need somewhere close to town? Call Porter's Place Guest House. Have business clients coming in and need accommodation? Call Porter's Place Guest House. Looking for group accommodation? Call Porter's Place Guest House. Located at 37 Goodwill Road in Portersville, upstairs ACS Supermarket. Enjoy our semi-self-contained rooms with private washroom, bathroom, Wi-Fi, air condition, cable network, mini refrigerator, all in a non-smoking environment. Call or WhatsApp at 1767-275-1899 or email us at info@pottersplaceguesthouse.com to make your reservations. Porter's Place, your home away from home. Fit for a king, a queen, and all their royal subjects.
Rudolph Thomas Enterprise in Portsmouth, your suppliers of building materials and hardware products. Over 20 years experience in the business. Rudolph Thomas has lumber and plywood, Portland and tile cement, steel rods, galvanized and fenced pipe, and Rudolph Thomas can meet all your wire needs. Galvanized roofing sheets, doors, windows, toilet sets, face basins, and bidets. PVC piping, fittings, and lattice. Check out Rudolph Thomas for ceramic and vinyl floor and wall tiles, nails, nuts and bolts, paint and painting supplies. And check out their line of electrical and hand tools. And Rudolph Thomas is your one-stop shop for hard-to-find items like fiberglass mat and fiberglass resin and welding rods. Go now to Rudolph Thomas on 1240 Bay Street in Portsmouth.
Yes, before we go to our guest in the house, Mrs. John Baptist, the PR of the Dominica Chess Federation, I would like to commend our sponsors. I'm a finance man, and the only way we can be on the air to develop and to deliver such a high quality program is because of Rudolph Thomas and ACS. So, our fans and friends, wherever you are, give priority to those two business places. Let's continue to support Rudolph Thomas in Portsmouth and ACS in Roseau.
Yes, so we're going to start with chess tonight, and we have a lovely young lady in the studio who is the PRO, Miss Dorothy John Baptist. That's the name. In fact, I think Dominica just came back from wherever it is. Good night, Miss John Baptist. Let me introduce you. Well, you can tell the listeners, talk to, by the way, Dr. Fontaine is with us and Emmanuel Leblanc. Yeah.
Yeah, so we returned only yesterday from Budapest, Hungary, where Dominica participated in the 45th Chess Olympiad. It was quite an experience. I was there as one of the female team members.
Before you go, how many members did you all have up in Hungary?
Okay, so there are two sections of the tournament. There is the open section and the women's section. Open meaning it can be either male or female. So each country is expected to present 5 members on a team. There are 4 boards, and so the 5th person serves as an alternate, a relief for if someone is, wants to take a break, take a rest. So there are 4 boards, board 1 to 4. So we had a 5-member team, 4 males, the open team, and 5 women on the women's team. We were also accompanied by our president, Mr. Ian Dorival. He's the president of the Dominica Chess Federation. So a total of 11 of us were present at the 45th Chess Olympiad. And it was held from September 10th to the 23rd. Well, 23rd was like the departure day. It was, as I said, it was quite an experience. We had a team at a previous Olympiad 2 years ago because it's held every 2 years. So Dominica presented a team in the open section in 2022. So this would have been like the second time that Dominica was represented at the Olympiad. So
well, I'm sure everybody out there would want to know, how did the Dominica team do up in Hungary? That's what most people want to know.
Of course, certainly. So it was very challenging, I can tell you. I mean, we faced jet lag, we faced fatigue, we faced, because we got it was like a day and a half journey to get to Budapest. It started off, I think the first round was on the 11th. So there was an opening ceremony, a grand opening ceremony on the 10th when we got in. We got in very, very late Tuesday evening. Some of us were not even able to attend the opening ceremony. We started out, well, let me tell you how we did in some of the rounds. Round 1, the open team, our guys faced opponents who were very, very highly rated. The name of the country, I can tell you if you're not good at geography, at the Olympiad is a place to learn what countries exist in the world, okay? So the open team faced Kyrgyzstan, if I have the pronunciation correct. We lost 4-0, the open team did. The second day, the open team faced Brunei Darussalam. Again, an extremely strong team. Rating over 2,000 for each of the members on that team. We saw a little breakthrough in round 3 where we drew with a team from the country called Palau. So we went on from there. We actually had a win in the next round. So I would say our guys performed creditably. We actually won a few games, which so we're not the worst. Absolutely not. We performed creditably. Worthy of note is the high caliber of the people or opponents. These are people who are born and grown in the chess, and they've been there every year, every tournament. They're involved, and our chess federation is at an infant stage. So they say to become great, you have to rub shoulders with the greats. So this is what we have done, and I must say, a few wins, a few losses, a few draws. There's one highlight which I cannot help but mention very early in this conversation. Nigel Francis, he was on our board 4 in the open team. He actually achieved a title at this Olympiad. So you achieve norms by high performance rating in rated tournaments such as this one, the Olympiad. So what Mr. Nigel Francis achieved was his candidate master title. You get that by first of all, you have to participate in a minimum of 7 games, which he did. I think he played 10 games, and he gained 6 points, meaning he won more than half of the games that he participated in. And by virtue of that fact, he gained the title Candidate Master, which is quite a feat. So you can either gain Candidate Master, FIDE Master, International Master, or Grand Master. So a lower end of the spectrum, but still a great accomplishment for Mr. Nigel Francis.
Well, explain to people out there what you mean by Grandmaster.
Okay.
Because the people out there listening, they wouldn't understand what you say.
Grandmaster.
So explain that to people.
A Grandmaster is, it's an achievement of one of the norms, which is you would have participated in a minimum number of games. And I think for Grandmaster level, you have to win. Like if you participate in 10 games, you would have had to win like 8 or 9 of those games. So it's about your what you have achieved in terms of how many games you have participated in and the number of wins. So if you have a high level of win, you are able to achieve this Grandmaster status, which I think is a rating. You can have a rating of, or you ought to have a rating of over 2,200, I think, for Grandmaster level. So and it's who you are able to win against as well. If you obviously are winning against people with higher ratings than yourself, your rating will in turn go up, and you can achieve these levels, these norms, become a FIDE Master, Candidate Master, etc. So this is something we really want for our members, to achieve these norms and to get these titles. And I must say, on the women's team, I can speak a little bit more about them after this. We actually had 2 of our very young players, Ayani Casimir and Desiree Daniel, who also performed very well. And I think Ayani was, maybe like 2 games short of appearing in the title of Candidate Master as well. So it's really about exposing our chess players to these high-level games, these where we play against highly rated players, and we can achieve these titles. And this is what participation in the Olympiad has done for Dominica. We, as I said, we are at an infant stage. Our federation is very young. We're like 2 or 3 years old. But we were able to have these small achievements, and we feel good because we're absolutely not the worst out there. We were among nations.
How many countries participated?
Okay, so the number of teams in the open tournament was like 188. I think Dominica finished at a ranking of 179. So, but at the end of the Olympiad, I can just tell you who came.
Just hold on. I think maybe somebody might want to speak to you. Good evening.
Good evening, Sibo.
Yes.
Good evening, my doctor from Grand 4. Do you know, Sibo? Is that government that gets
Let me tell you, hold on. We passed that stage now. We're talking about chess. So probably have to call back later. Thank you. Okay, we're talking about chess now. Okay, thank you very much. Go on.
Sebastian.
Hold on, no, let her finish. She was onto something. Yeah. That's not Lobby you last. Yeah, go on.
Yes, at the end of the Olympiad, I just wanted to highlight, who won, because obviously, based on match points, we had a first, second, third. India placed first in the open section. United States came second, and Uzbekistan placed third. Other countries which were in the top 10 in the open section were like China, Serbia, Armenia, Germany, Slovenia, Spain, countries like that. I can also say that in terms of, Caribbean nations such as ourselves, St. Lucia was at number 146, Bahamas at 151, Guyana at 174, Antigua 178. So you see where our Caribbean nations tend to fall within this entire ranking of international nations who play chess. So it speaks to not that we should be comfortable being ranked, down at the bottom, but there is scope for growth, and it's a process. It definitely is a process, and we have started the process, and we intend to and expect to grow.
Lobby, you wanted to ask the lady a question?
Yes. Didn't the women, didn't they win, beat Dominican Republic?
Okay, so let me speak about the women now.
Yeah, I was wondering.
Yeah. A little bit of a rough start for the ladies. We played against Algeria, we played against Sudan, and then Oman. We played also against Ivory Coast. We played Democratic Republic of Congo, and we won. That's where we won 4-0. I think there's quite a bit of excitement placed on that on our Facebook page. That maybe is what you saw. Democratic Republic of Congo. Yes.
Right.
This is a nation which we scored highly against 4-0. So our ladies are doing things. Again, I must mention little Miss Young Ayani Kazimir doing very well. We expect great things from her. Lyudmila Dominova on board 2, Zahidu Henry on board 3, and young Desiree Daniel on board 4. So we also played against Mauritius. We played against U.S. Virgin Islands. We played against also St. Kitts and Nevis. We won against St. Kitts and Nevis. So we had 3 outright wins and
the ladies?
1 draw. The ladies,
Okay.
yes. So against the 11 matches that we played, 3 wins, a draw, 7 losses.
Dr. Kamara, I'm sure it'd be interesting to find out if Al Murphy took part.
Yes, I'm definitely going to ask that, but also I wanted to see
Jones Murphy, sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
Jones, but I also wanted to ask as well, and thanks for that information and congratulations to your team. What does that translate to in terms of points? 'Cause I'm looking at the match points for the teams that won or for the higher ranked teams, and I want to get a sense as to what that win converts to in terms of points.
In terms of match points.
To the
So
match points.
Dominica, our open team closed with 6 match points.
6.
Yes.
Okay.
And
All right.
the women's team actually closed with 7 match points.
All right, so that's okay. So that's not too bad because I'm seeing the number 10th ranked team had 16 match points. So I just wanted to put it in perspective
Very good,
because
very good.
you might hear 100 and something and think that you're way out there. But in terms of the match points,
That's a good point to make. Thank you for highlighting that. Yeah, that's absolutely right. The number 10th team, Bulgaria, among the women, had 16 match points. You're absolutely right. Looking at it like that certainly puts it in some perspective. As I said, we are not at the bottom of the barrel. We are at our infant stages in chess development. And I think we have places to go, and I see it. We expect that a few more of our members will gain their titles in future Olympiads. And it's really all about participating in as many tournaments, international tournaments, regional tournaments, as many as we possibly can, so that we get the exposure for our players. And because the whole aim...
But, another
Excellent.
question.
No, I'm curious, man. Just one
Go ahead.
question. I'm curious as well in terms of how did Jones do?
Oh, Jones had a few wins, a few losses. What Jones said to me, because we talked, after several of his games. Jones says, his opponents are getting younger and younger, and these guys are, and it's true. When I tell you that these guys are sharp, our opponents, highly rated players, 17-year-old guys who are playing like a machine. Stockfish is like a chess engine, and they're on point with all their moves. This is what Jones. So he had a few wins, he had a few draws, he had a few losses. All in all, he contributed. He was on board 1, and his role, I guess, was to shield the team. Well, he fielded the because board 1, typically you put your strongest player there. You can have a strategy whereby you put your strongest player lower down, but typically your strongest player is on board 1. And this is where Jones played, and he held his own. But it was a tough match, I can tell you. We really got a bad case of the jet lag, I think, most of us. And, it was quite a battle, quite a challenge. But I think we held our own somewhat. And as Thompson pointed out, when you look at the match points, it really tells the picture that an uphill battle, a serious challenge for all of us, but we did something. And I think we performed creditably.
But
Yeah,
that
yes.
is why just one final comment. As you mentioned jet lag, I will tell you what jet lag does to me, and I suspect is probably the same thing, is that it slows me down so much.
Absolutely.
It's almost like it takes me twice as long to think, like especially the first 2-3 days after I've
Yes.
made a transition to Africa. It
Oh,
takes me like
yes.
it takes me a long time to think. I'll be talking to you and I'll be missing words, so I can
Oh,
understand if you guys coming from that jet lag and going to play, especially if you're not
yes.
used to it and you're going to play. I can well imagine the impact that would have had. So
That
yeah,
is correct. That is correct.
yeah,
Quite a few of
yeah.
us experienced that.
Yes, you alluded to that a little early on in terms of the plans and programs, but I want you to speak a little bit more about that. Given that experience at the 45th Chess Olympiad, what plans and programs do we have to work with our younger players to develop their capacity? So when we go back again in 2 years time,
Yes.
in 2 years time, what do we have in place? What are we thinking of doing? Regional competitions, what kind of exposure for our players, the plans and programs that we have in place to improve the quality of our performance.
Yes, absolutely. So right now we have a calendar in place whereby we've had our national tournament held in June and July this year. We have the open tournament coming up later. Just before we went to Hungary, there was some of our guys went to St. Lucia. So we have regional tournaments every now and again. So a team went to St. Lucia and we played against St. Lucia. There are other regional tournaments. We had another tournament to come in November. I'm not sure if it's actually going to happen, but there are regional tournaments. There are what we call hybrid games where you play on the computer. You don't go in person, but there's an arbiter present. You're being watched with cameras, and we play. So they're hybrid tournaments. Again, these are rated. Some of them are rated, and it really gives you that kind of international exposure and regional exposure. As you mentioned, what are our plans in terms of the younger people? Well, as you know, we are in the schools. We have the Chess in Schools program that's going on. We've been handing out chess sets, chess clocks, and we have helped to start up or revitalize chess clubs in quite a few of the secondary schools in Dominica. And we are continuing that. What we have found during the summer, because we have been having our Thursday sessions at UWI, we have found that quite a few young people have been coming in to UWI on a Thursday afternoon. We have been off since we have quite a few of us have been in Hungary. Some of our main participants in the Thursday afternoon sessions were in Hungary, but we will be back on next week because we found that during the summer quite a few young people were attending, always there on a Thursday, wanting to learn the game, wanting to practice, very eager. And so this was good. And we have found also that we've had new members coming in. The young ones are interested. The parents are interested. The schools are calling us. When can you come in and show something to our students? And the interest definitely is growing. So we have an open tournament coming up toward the end of this year. We have a schools tournament that we're also planning, and on the 18, I think, tournament before the end of this year. And so this is a plan. More tournaments, more opportunities for students, young people to get involved. Women's tournament, we had a Queen's Gala last November. I think we're going to repeat it again this year. So we have a packed program. The plans are there. It's all about more tournaments, more opportunities, more exposure for all chess players in Dominica.
Let me ask a question though. Everything, it takes finance, right?
Yes.
In terms of funding, how you'll because obviously to get to Hungary, it would cost a tidy sum.
Oh, yes.
So, did you get assistance from the government, Olympic Association?
So our main sponsor for us being able to attend the Olympiad was FIDE, right? The International Chess Federation. They would have paid, for the hotel, the tickets, and so on, the flight, and so on. We were also sponsored by the Dominica Olympic Committee. And, it would be remiss of me not to mention our heartfelt thanks to the Dominica Olympic Committee. Mr. Billy Doctrobe took a leap of faith with us, especially, there were concerns, a women's team to send them all that way. Are you sure it's going to make any sense? They're brand new. I'm hoping that he feels a little sense of comfort in that we did something. We did well. We won some games because it was questionable as to whether the women's team would have been able to win any games, which we did. And so DOC, we're grateful to them. But the International Chess Federation, I think, bore the brunt of the finance of our participation in that Olympiad. And we are constantly asking for sponsors. We've had a few business places come on board, certainly with respect to the schools tournament. We've had Tropical Shipping. We've had Whitchurch, Big Edge, companies like that. And so, yeah, we're constantly looking out for sponsors, partners who share our vision and see the need to improve and showcase and expand chess in Dominica.
What about raising funds? You all ever thought of that?
We haven't really delved into actual fundraising on a large scale, but it's something certainly that we'll be looking at because we have a lot of programs that we want to get done. And so, yeah, that's something we can look at, for ourselves, to for all of us to be a little bit more self-sufficient. There have been people who have shown interest in having us teach chess. And so that is an opportunity that we can look at because, as I said, the interest is growing. It's really serious. And we have very experienced players who are in a position they can teach, and hold sessions with the young people and so on. And so this is an opportunity which, when we're ready to formalize it, we can, and it could serve as a source of income for the Federation.
Yeah, I subscribe to sports tourism. Either we bring in sports and activities into Dominica, where we can generate economic activity, or when our sports persons are going abroad, they are well briefed by the Discover Dominica Authority, so they can promote Dominica. Was there any intervention by the Discover Dominica Authority in this particular sport initiative to give you information and to brief you so you can promote Dominica whilst you're in Hungary?
I must say no. We did not have a particular intervention from Discover Dominica. That's an interesting point, though, sports tourism. We haven't delved into that much, but it is an idea. We certainly can explore it. We can, I know our president has been reaching out to quite a few, private institutions and government institutions, because there are some programs like the Chess in Prisons program that we have been trying to put in place. We have what is called a development fund, where there are certain projects that we need to undertake in order to ensure that we get the development fund from FIDE. And the Chess in Prisons is one such program which we have not been able to start. And it's going to take some, I guess, negotiating with the powers that be in terms of, how we can actually get into the prisons to carry on this program.
Somebody all the way from Chicago wants to know if you all are engaged in the online chess games with players around the world.
Oh, certainly. We have online games. We have a session on a Sunday. We have rapids. We have classical games. We do have an online platform where we engage playing weekly. I think every Wednesday. We do engage players internationally. There are little groups that are set up, and we do that. Definitely.
Well, he's here. He just wanted to know.
Yes,
He's all the way from Chicago.
Yes.
Asking the question. Any more questions, guys? We have to wind up now.
Fantastic, Sebastian. Sebastian, all I want to say is this, and I'm very happy because my alma mater, St. Mary's Academy, that game chess was alive at that secondary school, and I'm happy that other schools are on board and the game is growing.
Thank you, Lobby. Dr. Fontaine?
Yes, sure. I just wanted to add my voice as well, just to congratulate the spokesperson for the Chess Association. You're a great exponent. You're a great representation of the sport, my college of sport in Dominica. I think you represent well, and congratulations again to you and to the team, and for making Dominica proud. I know, it's good that our people can go out there. And as I said, we don't have necessarily a real big culture of chess. I wish I'd learned chess at school. Never had the chance. And I heard you talking about the young people. Maybe you'll have something for old people like me.
Oh, well, I know.
You calling yourself old, man?
Chess is for everybody. No age discrimination.
Just that it's a mind. It takes time, I mean, patient.
Doesn't matter. Take as long as you need. Chess is for everybody, man.
Yeah, I would absolutely love to learn. I'm serious. I would love. I never learned it in my youth, but now in my old age, certainly I would love to.
Stop mentioning yourself, old brother.
Go for it. Go for it.
Anyway, Joseph, thank you very much. It was nice joining us, and I'm sure we learned a lot, and people out there as well. And we wish you all the best. Obviously, we'll have you again at some time. And thank you so much for joining us in studio.
You're most welcome. Thank you for having me, and good evening to everyone.
Thank you.
My only hope is that quickly, I'm looking at the final
eloquence. Hold on, Lobby. Thompson, Ronald, finish.
You speak so clearly. I was hoping that eloquence, you could have used it whilst in Hungary to promote Dominica.
Well,
Dr. Fountain, you wanted to say something?
No, I just wanted to say I'm looking at the final rankings there, and Dominica 166 out of 183 for the women. So very well done.
Of course.
Yes. Yeah, I didn't mention that. I can. You're right. We finished. I think we were originally before the tournament. We were like at 165, 170 somewhere about, and now we're now ranked. The women team of Dominica is now ranked 155. So we gained. I think upwards of 10 points. In terms of ranking. Okay, so as I said, we made some steps, we made some strides, and we only have
hard work pays.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.
Excellent. Very eloquent.
Talk to you again.
Well done.
Yes, guys, we have to move on, and it was really nice talking to you, young lady. As you said, Dr. Fountain, we have a caller. Good evening.
Sibo.
Yes, lady.
Good night to you and everybody.
How are you, man?
Sibo, I'm okay. I'm just calling to say good night to Ozzy and his wife, and hope they're doing well. And Sibo, I want to make a request. I don't know if he's on the line.
Go ahead.
If you could give me a surprise, me and all his other fans. One of these days, come on the program.
We would welcome Ozzy anytime.
I have his number.
I can give it to you off air. I'll give it to you. I can't pay it on
give it to me off air.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So you know, give us a little surprise, man.
Well, I just said earlier tonight that all his fans, I'm sure people like Dodol,
man, we are missing out.
all the doctors, I know, everybody here.
Okay, good night.
Take care. Okay, guys, now I think we are joined by this famous guy from Guyana who lives in St. Lucia. And his name is Joseph Reds Pereira. Good night. Are you there, sir? Good night.
Yes, I'm here. I'm loud and clear.
Okay. With me, Ronald Lander, Dr. Fountain, and Emmanuel Loblack. Now, Reds, let me say straight. There's this big fete in St. Lucia tomorrow. I do not want you to go there because you cannot take all this soccer business now. You need to stay at your home. So please don't go there. Try and watch it on television. Will you be listening to me? Will you listen to me?
I will hear you loud and clear. You have.
Speak a little louder. We're hearing you faintly, please.
You're hearing me loud and clear. You have no worry because I'm not going to attend.
Not in the guest appearance?
No guest appearance. I mean, it's a public matter, and I think it's ready for.
Reds, can you increase your volume? We will hear you faintly.
No, I suspect it's from the studio, though.
I will try and get the volume increase.
Yeah. Let's.
Hold on, please.
Yeah.
That.
Sure, not here. We're not hearing you too loud.
Hello, testing.
We're still hearing you faintly.
Is that better? Hello?
Say again?
Is that better? Is the volume better?
Well, we'll try to do with that. Okay. Red, let's get straight to the point. There is a big holiday in St. Lucia tomorrow for the young lady, your Olympian. She came earlier this week. Tell us what has happened so far.
Well, she arrived about 1:30 on the 24th, and there was a brief reception at the airport. Obviously, the Prime Minister was the first person to meet her, along with other members of cabinet. And then they proceeded to have the motorcade. The motorcade went along the west coast and ended up into Rosalie. It was quite a testing time for her. But what I like about her that she didn't sit like a statue in the back of the car. She participated. She shook hands. She had a flag around her. She waved her flag, and she really, I think, enjoyed the whole atmosphere. The motorcade was very, very long. There was live commentary with a lead vehicle, sort of filling in different things, where they are, which part of St. Lucia they are, and things like that. At times she stopped because it was overwhelming. She had to stop, and she shook hands and things like that. And then sometimes it would flow, ebb and flow, ebb and flow. I mean, it's the same thing that you would have seen when LaFond came to Dominica. The greetings on the road sometimes would stop the motorcade.
Well, up to date, I think there was some rallies in some schools and something had to be presented to her. I understand, maybe you can confirm, the government has presented her with $1 million. Is that a fact?
I haven't heard that, but maybe your information, knowing the kind of contacts you have, you've got that. But I can confirm that in the morning for you. I know that she had a school's rally, which included her school, and which included 2 other schools. She had an evening at the Governor General's house on Wednesday. I think a bit of a cocktail party. It was a select group. And tomorrow, you know what's happening tomorrow.
Well, yeah, it's a big holiday. That's why I warned you early. Please stay home because you cannot take this rough and tumble of this soccer business tomorrow at the Darren Sammy Stadium.
Lockhart, I know you well. I know you well.
Hold on, Lobby. Let him. Well,
I'm 85 years of age. I am not going to be partying.
Lobby, go ahead. There's a question. Lobby, go ahead. Ask her.
That's something. I just wanted us to say how I'm very impressed with Julian Alfred. It's a young lady I know from the Junior Character Games going in Jamaica. I've been following her, and in the US. And what I like about her is her total humility. She's a very humbled in the individual, and how she has returned home, and how she has participated in whatever that was done for her. I'm very happy, the way she has no arrogance in her. And she's very patriotic. She's St. Lucian. She's happy to be representing her country. I'm very happy for that.
Right, does she still live up on the hill? She still lives up on the hill in Cicero?
Yeah, so she has the family home is still there. The family home, I'm told, will be upgraded. The family home will be upgraded.
Okay.
And I think her relationship with the area is going to have an impact on the area. I think there will be an upgraded on maybe a number of things. You can imagine. But one of the big things that she is going to do is sign a contract with the St. Lucia Tourist Board.
Okay.
And it should be a substantial contract.
Okay.
She will be an ambassador. She will endorse St. Lucia. She probably will appear in ads, make appearances throughout the year when she is not competing. There's an off season, depending on how the world events are set up, but there's an off season after September, October, where she can do a fair amount of work. And you can imagine that that will be a substantial contract. Her agent is here with her. So she is not signing anything without it being thoroughly looked by him. And I would think you will have her shoe sponsor, Puma, soon be offering, I think, another contract to her. She got a contract when she was at Texas and doing well, initially. I think now you can imagine that Puma will be improving that.
But obviously, she has to go back to the States. That's where she lives, right? Obviously, for trading and everything else. So I guess she probably only. How long will she be in St. Lucia?
Well, Friday will be her last appearance. I know that she is meeting the Olympic Committee before she departs, and she will also, in that meeting, the Athletic Association is the association that I won't say a reporter, but she relates to. And they have done a pretty good job since they have gotten in. It's a young lady from the Bank of St. Lucia, Bernie Descott. I think she is related to the St. Lucia cricketer who took that brilliant catch.
Yeah. Play for the St. Lucia Kings, yeah. Play for the St. Lucia Kings.
Brilliant catch. It came like a rocket. Those things either stick or don't stick. But it was a great effort. Yeah, Olympic Committee is another matter. It's a very packed program. The netball people were hoping that she might have been able to spend a half an hour, which would have brought a substantial amount of gate support. But it appears it was totally impossible. And of course, she's got a family. She's her mother, her cousins or uncles. So they had to cater for just about everything. I was to do a CPL report today at 3:30 for RCI. And when I called in, although it's a sponsored report arranged many months ago, but they were having a Julian Alfred show. So,
well, she deserves it. Eh? She deserves it. To be fair, she deserves it.
Just like the case of Lafont, when you look at the population of Dominica, the ratio of getting a gold medal is really marvelous. And when you look at European countries that don't have a gold medalist, the economy of those countries 50,000 times stronger, etc. That doesn't mean that the two girls are any weaker. In fact, even better. So it's really marvelous that two OECS islands can produce two gold medalists. And if the American girl
Richardson,
Sha'Carri
Richardson.
Sha'Carri was out of the picture totally and has gotten beaten badly since then. No,
Well,
I'm talking about the 200 meters final. If that American girl was also running in the 100, it would have been very even. But it's hard for a 100-meter runner to try to attempt both because you're going to run heats. And the day she won the medal, the next morning, there was a 200-meter heat. It's not easy.
In fact, Reds, the women, people who run the 100 and 200 meters, they had to run 5 out of 6 days. 5 out of 6 days.
But you see, you see, gentlemen, first of all, you have to be prepared. If you're running 1 and 2 regularly, you know what is at stake.
But the men didn't have to go through that, by the way. The men had a couple of days rest.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Yes. The men had a couple of days to rest. The women had to run 5 days out of 6, 100 and 200 meters. It was tough.
Emmanuel, it was not fair.
No.
I know. Well, Reds, first of all, what I find, I saw that. What I find, first of all, you have a program. There are associations, powerful associations. And I tell myself, you have meetings. They go to meetings. And how did they sit? They look at this, they look at the schedule, and they said nothing about it. You know, I found it very strange.
No, but I think it's now being put out in the conversation. And I think you probably will see an adjustment when the next Olympics goes.
Obviously. Because right now, you have to, they were looking at right now of ranking. There won't be this carte blanche time in terms of looking for numbers. They're looking at being very selective. It's just a suggestion, looking for the top 16. I find to myself, that's not fair.
Okay, let's switch gears now, Reds. You just mentioned about OECS and netball. As you know, you work in the OECS for a number of years. The netball is going in St. Lucia. I believe you have seen a few matches. Dominica is over there. I think they're playing St. Lucia tonight, in fact, or right now as we speak. Tell us about how things have gone on.
Let me just check that. Today is the 28th, St. Lucia, Grenada, Anguilla, Dominica, St. Vincent, Caymans, and Montserrat, Antigua, Barbuda. That was this morning, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the 2:30 game was St. Lucia, Grenada. And I'm really talking about Saturday. Then on Sunday, Anguilla, Montserrat, Dominica, Antigua, St. Lucia, Caymans, Grenada, St. Lucia. Now, this afternoon, Dominica plays St. Lucia.
Right, that's what I said. Yeah.
That match is an 8 o'clock match.
Tonight.
So,
yeah, right. That's why I said I think Dominica playing St. Lucia tonight. That's why I said that.
Yeah. Well, I was giving you the time.
Yeah. So who is leading so far? Who is leading?
I think St. Vincent and the Grenadines are leading by, if I can describe it that way. It's very tight between St. Vincent, Grenada, St. Lucia. And if you notice, they are going to be playing in the mix. For example, on Saturday, St. Lucia plays Grenada. On Sunday, Grenada plays St. Vincent. Grenada lost the first game against Antigua. And so they are maybe just below St. Vincent. St. Lucia somewhere around there. Who is surprisingly quite good is Caymans. Caymans play a very nice transition type netball, lovely passing. You know, they seem to be like an orchestra. They seem to just know every note, know every tune. They play very well. They are not competing in the competition because they're not an OECS country.
Yeah, but it's not an OECS tournament. What I understand, it is really not an OECS tournament.
Well, hold on. It's an ECCB. It used to be the under 23. They changed that. They had more money from the ECCB, and it was given the name of an international thing. Barbados started to play in it, which would have lifted the standard and provided the opportunity for players to play against those who went to the World Cup. But Barbados decided that they wouldn't come this year. They will try for the Paradise Cup. And the Paradise Cup was supposed to, have England, Scotland, New Zealand, Australia, Wales, but only Northern Ireland came. So whether Barbados will continue that, what was disappointing, that Barbados did not send, let's say, a B team or a young national team. Trinidad has never taken part, although they are eligible. They are eligible. So that's the story. The conditions have been quite good because they're using the indoor auditorium near to the Darren Sammy. And they have put in 2 big blowers to try and cool the atmosphere down.
The heat.
Yes, especially the day games. In the evenings, it is much better. It is much better. So it comes to an end on Saturday and on Sunday, and I think tomorrow.
But because tomorrow is a public holiday in St. Lucia, would they have games tomorrow?
No, there's no. Tomorrow is a free day. I mean,
No,
I would think that cars are going to be parked all over that area, and the PS system might be going. The organizers decided that they will not have games because.
Well, you will have a good view tomorrow. You will be able to see everything from where you are, Red.
Yeah, it will be covered live.
Well, yeah, but from where you are, you could see everything at the Duggan Stadium.
I was telling someone that today that I don't need to go.
Well, yeah, you can see from up on the hill up there. Because, as usual, you live in this nice big house where lovely view, where rich people live. So you could see everything from where you are.
Lockhart, please go to church on Sunday and tell the Lord that you've been.
I'm Reds.
Yeah, Reds.
Yeah.
What's your impression so far of the Dominicans' performance?
The inconsistency in passing and shooting. I mean, you have to control the ball. If you can't control the ball from your turnover, you should be scoring, hopefully, every center pass. Every center pass should lead to a shot being taken. And that is not happening. I think Dominica, Antigua Barbuda is somewhere around fourth, fifth. The inconsistency, the skills, the passing skills. I mean, if you see the Cayman pass, it's like they know each other from primary school. But it takes time. It takes time. Probably need an overseas coach to come in for a couple of months from Scotland or England. Coach the under 23, coach the national team. But you have to give the girls the support possibly, and maybe a couple of English schools coming in to play at the school level as part of a sports tourism program. But too many mistakes, too many turnovers, losing the ball when you should have the ball. But I mean, they played with good spirit. And I think that's the same way to describe Antigua. Antigua started very well by beating Grenada on the opening day.
Okay, all right. Okay, Reds, well, we're going to wind up now. I will be in touch with you after the CPL so we can have a roundup of the CPL. So I hope you have a good night. As I said to you tomorrow, please stay home.
I have one question.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm told tonight that, well, I asked a question, and you're a man who have contacts. The qualifier for the Caribbean for LA. Do you know anything about it? Does the CPL, what shall I say?
You mean for the Olympics in 4 years' time?
Yes. Can the West Indies board hold a competition without CPL saying okay, or this has nothing to do with what was agreed to by the Julian Hunt executive when they gave CPL X number of years? Can you say?
Well, I know they will have problems. As you know, they gave this CPL an exclusive license for so many years. So they want to have a Caribbean T20 next year. I don't know how that's going to be affected by if CPL will prevent them or what. So we have to wait and see, because as you know, the president is now a politician. In fact, I just heard him today in an exchange with Ralph Gonzalez. So we'll see how that goes. He's now a politician on the opposing side, as you know, Press.
Yeah, so only 2 people have been into politics, but Julian Hunt had left politics prior to being president. I think that Ken Gordon might have been a senator. Whether it was at the same time he was the West Indies board president, I would have I would have to check. But
It's something we have to check.
my information is that Dr. Shallow is going to run for the leadership of the opposition. Now, this is going to be interesting because the ICC are not happy with political, what shall I say, political power at the level of the ICC administration. It'll be, I think it's a matter that needs to be discussed.
Okay. All right, Rez, on that note, I'll speak to you after the CPL so we can have a roundup and a discussion.
One question.
Mhm.
Where were you when the Combined Islands beat Guyana at Windsor Park?
In fact, I was going to grammar school and we jumped the wall. Which, in other words, we have a term we call stowaway. I remember we let bowling Clive Lloyd in the gardens. And Irving, that was a day. Because going to grammar school and we jumped the wall. In those days, you used to have these guards and we used some guys as a decoy. So while the guard is going on one side, the rest of us are jumping the wall like Coca-Cola to go in. That's where I was. We stow away, as they call it in local language.
It was a memorable day.
Yes, and you were commentating on that. Rohan Kanai was there, all of them. Clive Life, Gilbert Blair, all of them.
Six
all
test
them.
players.
Yes. Anyway, Reds, thank you. We'll be in touch with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Reds. Thank you.
Good night to all.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good night.
Thank you. Guys, right away we have with us the PR of the Football Association. I know he haven't got much time with us tonight. Eddie, good night.
Good night.
Yeah, I know you have some other problems dealing with, so let's get straight to it. You had the semi-finals of the President's Cup last week?
Yes, so the finals will see Central Cooperative Credit Union Dublin, which is Valvoline United. That will be on Sunday the 6th of October at the stadium, and the third place game will be played between Tomex Salem and Tajika South East.
The third place game will be on the Saturday and the final this Sunday?
That's right.
Okay. All right. That's go ahead.
Based on the event today, our games were postponed or rescheduled, for want of a better word, because due to the inclement weather. The paramount thinking of the FA is that the athletes' lives will be first and foremost. So all games are rescheduled. Sunday we will see the continuation of our Premier League. As to if it will play, because a letter was sent, I cannot disclose the full content.
No. When you say a letter was sent by whom?
A letter was sent by one of the clubs was sent to the FA.
So that team will not be able to play, or football on the whole will be stopped?
Most likely, but if not, we will.
Oh, they are protesting something? Is it that a letter of protest?
Well, I do not want to say protest for want of a better word.
No, but if you're saying something to us, you must tell us. Because if you're saying there mightn't be football because a team is writing a letter. Go ahead.
Our club wrote a letter saying that members are injured and otherwise. So the game that is scheduled for Sunday will not be played.
Oh, that I'm saying. Okay. All right.
So,
okay.
Like I said to people, I do not give.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Just tell us. Yeah. Okay. All right.
So, but nonetheless, football is moving, and we are in round 16 of the first division. Today we should have seen Sugar Judge Wayne Judge in the continuation with Ganzilia, but again, because of inclement weather. The women, because of inclement weather. So the games that were scheduled for tonight, they are all rescheduled, but nonetheless, we will continue to raise the standards of football as we go ahead.
But let me ask you, you said when does Dominica play against Bermuda? Isn't it early October?
Yes.
What date?
The men will be traveling in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, but what date? What date is the game?
The 14th, for want of a better.
Yeah, but how are you going to be playing a final on the 6th where Jubla is playing the final? They have a number of players in the national team. Don't you think it's risky?
When we keep on doing these things, we say to ourselves that we are not competent enough. Because Dominica was in Antigua, they played Thursday, and then by Sunday and 11, that's not the exact, but by 11 the day after they played another game. So what are we saying? What are we saying to ourselves that we can put football on a hold because this team is?
I didn't say that. I'm just asking you. I'm asking you.
Well, as I've stated last week and stated last week going forward, what the DFA have decided is that unless we do not have 3 or more players on the national team, all other games will be played.
Okay.
So Dubla is waived for now because we know the majority of the players from Dubla from the national team. But every other team will be entitled to play football once the DFA schedule the fixtures and schedule it on time. So will we play the semi-finals? Yes, we will.
Okay. All right.
Will we play the finals? Yes, we will.
Okay, no problem. That's checking. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Lobby, we know you have to go. We don't want to keep you long. We know you have something dealing with. So thank you.
Yeah.
We'll talk to you again next week. Thank you.
I have a question for him. Oh,
Well, he's gone, Lobby. He's gone. But guys, I don't know if you, hold on. Go ahead.
The question I want to ask Eddie, Yes, even though is that there used to be some drug testing that was being done. I want to know if it has been discontinued. All right.
I'm sure you will answer that next week.
Yes,
so
next week for sure when it comes. I want to know whether that thing is whether it has been discontinued or whether it is still on. It is still on.
Okay. While we're in football, guys, I don't know if you all watched this game last Sunday, Arsenal Manchester City. Did you all watch the game?
Well, obviously,
Dr. Fontaine, you saw it, right? Dr. Fontaine,
I've probably seen that game 4 or 5 times.
Now, can you imagine? And we spoke the other day about flair, guys not having flair, and guys not able to shoot and so on, because all that has disappeared. Arsenal, after the guy Trossard got sent off just before halftime, they came in the second half and they substituted the most offensive player, the best player, Saka, and they defended for what? 45 plus about 9 extra, 54 minutes. I mean, that was something. Manchester City had 78% possession in that game. Can you imagine that? I mean, I just couldn't know what kind of food. I saw guys getting the ball and that wouldn't shoot at goal when they should have been trying to score.
Sibo, what it has shown with football now, Sebastian, first of all, is the way the players are being trained. The drills that they're doing, how to track, how to mark. All right? The drills, first of all, you have limited touches. Touch and go. So what you find that you have to be able to track and mark properly. So these are things that they do regularly in training.
So they don't try to shoot the ball as well? They don't try to shoot at goal?
Obviously, when to shoot off, obviously. But, Sebastian, the way the guys are very... And secondly, the teams are very fit. The games have... Look,
well,
for you
Arsenal look very tired after a while. I don't know
for you to absorb... Listen to me. For you to absorb that constant attack from Man City, Sebastian, you have to be very fit. You have to be very, very fit. Because let nobody fool you. All right, to be able to to move, they're moving that ball from side to side, from the center back to and you have to be very fit. And the players are very knowledgeable. These are not first-time players, Most of the players there on Arsenal, these are players who are there last year. They have been around. So the guys know how to play football, how to mark, how to track players. Yeah.
And also, I was saying, that to me is phenomenal. That they could, for an entire half,
10 players,
54 minutes, with 10 against Man City. That tells me that on a different day with the 11 players, Arsenal,
I'm telling you,
without a doubt, So it sets this thing up very interesting. And now they have lost their key defender, Rodri.
When the midfield.
Well, he's a defensive midfielder in terms of...
And he was the best player in the Europe. He won the player of the tournament in the European Championship.
And was probably on track to get the Ballon d'Or, the Golden Boot or what. So I think that, looking at that, I think making a very early prediction, I would now suggest that Arsenal very well may win it this year.
Yeah, it's going to be really tight this year, really, because as you say, without him, most influential player, they're going to have a bit of a problem. Okay, I think we'll take a break now, and when we get back, it's going to be cricket.
Yes.
When you want the bed, what you do? Shop at SCN. Better than the red. Go shop at SCN. And they all compare. Shop at SCN. You get more for what they say. Shop at SCN. Shop at SCN. Yeah. Shop at SCN. Shop at SCN. What they say? Shop at SCN. ACS family, customer friendly. With 3 locations, it's so convenient. And our prices, they are the nicest. Madam Mister, that's where you belong. So tell your mama, tell your papa, shop at SCN. Tell your son and your daughter, shop at SCN. Auntie, Nan, and cousin, friend, open power, all of them. Grandma, grandpa, couple, neighbor, girlfriend, boyfriend, side. What? Shop at SCN. Shop at SCN. Shop at SCN. Shop at SCN.
Check us out at Portersville, High Street, and downtown Rose.
Rudolph Thomas Enterprise in Portsmouth, your suppliers of building materials and hardware products. Over 20 years experience in the business. Rudolph Thomas has lumber and plywood, Portland and tile cement, steel rods, galvanized and fenced pipe, and Rudolph Thomas can meet all your wire needs. Galvanized roofing sheets, doors, windows, toilet sets, face basins, and bidets. PVC piping, fittings, and lattice. Check out Rudolph Thomas for ceramic and vinyl floor and wall tiles, nails, nuts and bolts, paint and painting supplies. And check out their line of electrical and hand tools. And Rudolph Thomas is your one-stop shop for hard-to-find items like fiberglass mat and fiberglass resin and welding rods. Go now to Rudolph Thomas on 1240 Bay Street in Portsmouth.
The new India Insurance Company has reopened its doors in Portsmouth, offering the same great services you get in Roseau. Motor vehicle insurance, home and business owners, fire and related perils, public liability, and so much more. Come, visit us today for insurance with a personal touch on Bay Street, Portsmouth, or call us at 445-4023. We are ready to serve you.
Rudolph Thomas Enterprise in Portsmouth, your suppliers of building materials and hardware products. Over 20 years experience in the business. Rudolph Thomas has lumber and plywood, Portland and tile cement, steel rods, galvanized and fenced pipe, and Rudolph Thomas can meet all your wire needs. Galvanized roofing sheets, doors, windows, toilet sets, face basins, and bidets. PVC piping, fittings, and lattice. Check out Rudolph Thomas for ceramic and vinyl floor and wall tiles, nails, nuts and bolts, paint and painting supplies. And check out their line of electrical and hand tools. And Rudolph Thomas is your one-stop shop for hard-to-find items like fiberglass mat and fiberglass resin and welding rods. Go now to Rudolph Thomas on 1240 Bay Street in Portsmouth.
Looking for a quiet, relaxing place to stay? Call Porter's Place Guest House. Leaving the office late and need somewhere close to town? Call Porter's Place Guest House. Have business clients coming in and need accommodation? Call Porter's Place Guest House. Looking for group accommodation? Call Porter's Place Guest House. Located at 37 Goodwill Road in Portersville, upstairs ACS Supermarket. Enjoy our semi-self-contained rooms with private washroom, bathroom, Wi-Fi, air condition, cable network, mini refrigerator, all in a non-smoking environment. Call or WhatsApp at 1767-275-1899 or email us at info@portersplaceguesthouse.com to make your reservations. Porter's Place, your home away from home. Fit for a king, a queen, and all their royal subjects.
Guys, before we deal with cricket, I have a letter here that was sent to Sports Wrap. and it was sent to other news people like the Sun, the Chronicle, and it actually is from Felix Wilson, the former president of the Olympics. So I will not read it. If you want to make comments before we talk about cricket. And it says, their fear. Like all Dominicans, I felt very proud when you won a gold medal at the recent Paris Olympics 2024 and want to join them in congratulating you on this well-earned achievement. You will recall that this follows my previous congratulations to you when you won gold at the North American and Caribbean Athletics Confederation, NACAC 2023, as well as the World Indoor Championships 2024. While I have not had any acknowledgement from you, you can well imagine my consternation and disbelief upon hearing that you had allegedly castigated and demeaned my stewardship of the Dominica Olympic Association in my capacity as president and founder of that august body. You'll remember the support you received and the contributions towards your success on the world sporting stage, which I dare say has enabled you to attain the success you now enjoy. It is also my understanding, and I hope this can be clarified, if not true, that your mother has allegedly accused the past administration of the Dominica Olympic Association of treating you badly. Let me turn to the next page. Treating you badly as compared to the present administration. It would have been helpful if you had given reasons for this. So this is why it is incumbent on me, having been so integrally involved, to tell the truth and put things in perspective. This is not to be taken out of context, lest I'm accused of being reproachful, but truth must be told. You will well remember that you invited to participate in the Rio Olympics 2016 as an unqualified athlete for gender equality with a male qualified athlete, Cuban Dominican citizen Yordanis Duranoma Garcia. At that time, 10 meters in female triple jump and any expectation were non-existent and remote. You may also recall that your family was requesting to be there at a phenomenal cost to the DOC of $15,000 US, including travel and accommodation for your parents. To its credit, the DOC recognized your potential and had invested over a period of 18 months or so prior to the Rio Olympics, $1,000 US per month to help you with your training and coaching. Additionally, you were given the necessary support to enable you to attend several athletic meetings in the USA under the tutelage of a coach and technical advisor, Mexican Rafael Echeverria, based in Alaska, who was paid $500 US per month to guide Dominican athletes in the USA. And on the other page, I make reference to the above not only to set the record straight, but to remind you and the many Dominicans who may not be aware or have the institutional memory as to how the DOC was formed and the trailblazers who laid the foundation and provided the opportunity for past, present, and future athletes to reach their full potential. It was in 1982 that Ozzy Savre and myself started the process of placing Dominica on the world stage in athletics. In January 1982, well, listen, I'm not reading them. I'm coming to the end of it. You'll comment just now, Louis. In January 1983, the Dominica Amateur Athletics Association was established, whereas myself in 1986 was assisting and the late jurist F.O.C. Harris as president in 1988, writing a constitution and getting 5 Olympic sports affiliated to the respective international federations to be inducted into IOC. Sadly, F.O.C. Harris was already deceased when Dominica became a member of IOC in 1993, along with St. Lucia and St. Kitts. The rest is history. Where would Dominica be without that past? Government never gave assistance to DOC throughout my 32 years, save for 8 years up to 2017. Well, with a burnt library, an inadequate museum, and an insignificant documentation center, how will our young athletes, remembering the past, that we can build a future for all the young Dominicans yearning for an opportunity to win a medal at the Olympics? I hope they will be given that opportunity. While writing the note, I got Sunday morning greeting from a Dominican friend in the USA, which read, and I quote from an unknown person, "People may not reward or thank you for good things you've done, but when God is your reason for serving, you will receive greater blessings in return." unquote. Many thanks, Felix Wilson, founder and former president of DOC. That is a letter that was sent to Sports Trap and other sporting organizations. Yellow, you wanted to say something?
No, Sebastian, I think to myself, it's quarter to it right now. I think that letter could have been held back for next week. And
Well,
have
let's
read
get this
at our first meet, yeah. Seriously. But I think let's just move on with the cricket.
Yeah, well, you heard the letter, so next week, whatever comments, Dr. Fountain, you want to make any comment?
Yeah, next week, absolutely. Let's deal with it next week. I think it's a good idea.
Right. Okay, let's get to cricket now.
Sibo, before we just quickly before we go to the cricket, there's a very significant activity happening. We have a Dominican student team to represent Dominica in the Robotics Olympics in Athens, Greece. 190 countries will be participating, and that event takes place from the 26th to the 29th of September 2024. We trust when they return to Dominica, we can entertain them on Sports Wrap.
Yeah. Guys, I don't know if you watch. I was watching a game last week where Raymond Reefer, in a T20 game, opening the batting, he had batted 15 balls without scoring a run. Did you see that?
Yes. But Sebastian, yes.
In a T20 game, 15 balls and a guy hadn't scored a run. I'm saying, but what the hell is this going on? Honestly.
Sebastian, there's something I want to talk about the St. Kitts versus Trinidad. That game there. Now, when Fletcher was batting, Fletcher Fletcher batted sensible. He allowed the Bajan guy. What's his name again? The Bajan opener. Kyle Mills. Yeah, he allowed Kyle. He had given Kyle Mills the singles, or taking the single, allowing Mills to hit. When Louis came in, all we had to do was to give Fletcher the strike. Fletcher would give, he trying to, to hit and miss and give Fletcher the strike. And then horrendous in their fielding. Oh my God, that's the worst I've seen.
Well, they lost 9 games, eh? They played 10, they lost 9 games.
No, but Sebastian, the fielding, the catches that would drop. First of all, your friend, De Silva, was the first victim, De Silva. He always drop in.
Yeah, I think Drake dropped like 3 of them or something.
Yeah, man.
But Drake's lucky to be playing.
But Sibo knows in cricket, when you field in and you misfield and you drop in, the ball follow you.
Yeah, but you know,
Sibo, I have a bigger. I mean, we're talking about the CPLs. I have a bigger problem. So as South Africa 20, SA20 is about to start.
Right, in January.
200 players. From those 200 players, they are allowing 13 free overseas players.
Correct.
Right? Our CPL is going on. We're allowing 5 players per team. Okay? So look at the comparison. Look at the exposure that South Africa is looking for its players, and look at the exposure that our players are not getting in there. I don't get it. I don't understand it. I mean, and I noticed that even the crowds are not as huge as they used to be. It seems that it is kind of a one-sided competition. As you said, you have one team losing practically all of the games.
Because look, let's face it. You look at St. Kitts, Sebastian. They have the material. They have been scoring. But when come for their bowling, I think that is what have let them down. Even that last game against Trinidad, hadn't they taken as you know in cricket, catches win matches. Had they taken those catches there? They've had some close games. They've got a lot of runs, and they had some close games. But
go ahead.
Yes, there's something else, Sebastian. First of all, you were talking about Fletcher. Fletcher is in the top in terms of runs. In terms of the you don't want any young person, any young cricketer.
What you mean? What you mean? When you say I was talking about Fletcher, what
in terms of his presence on the team. What I'm saying is this: he's scoring, and I haven't seen any young player
scoring. If you bat 10 innings and you score 300 runs, you'll say he's scoring.
No, at least it's not 15 after 15. At least it's not after 50. Who else scoring? Who else?
Who else scoring? What's it? Biscock has the most runs. What's it? Don't Charles have more runs than him?
Huh?
Hetmeyer has
The old guys is Johnson Charles and Fletcher that are scoring.
Fletcher's number 2.
From the Caribbean.
No, Johnson Charles is number 2, boss. No, Johnson Charles is number 2. Johnson Charles is number 2. Don't tell me Fletcher is 2.
All right. Well, Fletcher's free something, friend and 12, even though he's
Yeah, but
I haven't seen any younger player coming on. I haven't seen any young player.
But they're not. But young players are not getting given a chance. You look at Trinidad team. You have Pollard playing. You have Bravo playing. You have Narain playing. You have Russell playing. How are you going to get young players playing?
But Cathy is not a Western batsman. Cathy, yes, scoring Cathy is there. All right.
Yeah.
But what I'm happy about, I'm looking at Shammer. Shammer, he looks very fit to me. He looks better. He looks better than when he was in England. Do you think so?
Well, yeah. I mean, I guess in England he didn't look fit at all. He didn't look. But I have to talk about Shammer. The Guyana team looked to me the best team.
Yeah.
I'm very surprised if they don't win.
Yeah.
Well, they have 2 more games. They can come to number 1. They have 12 points. St. Lucia has 14 points. So Guyana has to play Trinidad and St. Lucia. Yes. They, to me, have, and they've gotten back Gabaz, the opening batsman from Afghanistan.
Yes.
So I think they have the best all-round team. Best all-round team, honestly.
And they're fielding. What I like about them, they're fielding. They're fielding.
And they're playing at home, by the way. They're playing at home.
Yes,
the other games, they're playing at home. So it's going to be difficult to beat them.
See, but I have a question for you also. Right now, if you're picking a T20 team, if you're going to pick a T20 team, who will be your opening batsman for the West Indies?
Well, I guess Brendan
what you have seen.
would come back. I mean, I would expect him to come back. He hadn't played too many matches.
Who's
but
that?
you know, Brendan King, he hadn't played too many matches. So I would
I
expect
think Luis. I think you would have to consider Luis.
Well, I've always felt he should be, but whether he wants to play, that's the problem. That guy is whether he wants to play. The guy always finds an excuse for him not to be on the field. He always looks for some story, some excuse. So it's whether he wants to play. Kyle Mayers, I would expect him to come back on the West Indies team. I would expect him to play.
What about this guy from Barbados?
Which one? Which one?
Johnson Charles.
No, when he's came from Barbados. Who is that?
He plays first for St. Lucia. Chase.
Chess would obviously play. I mean, his bowling, his batting. But the problem with that, you're not seeing young players coming through that West Indies. Okay, look at India. Kohli has retired. Jadeja has retired. Rohit has retired. They have, but we don't have, and even the young players even are not given a chance in the CPL. That's the problem.
Yeah.
They are not being given a chance. I mean, you still have people like Cornwall opening the batting. My goodness. Cornwall cannot run 2 runs on the field. Cornwall shouldn't be on the field playing.
True, the man is a liability.
Yes, I mean, you can have people like Cornwall playing T20. That is a nonsense.
So Sibu, what is the problem? Does it speak to a lack of talent at the T20 level in the West Indies? I mean, I don't get it. Or is it just that the model is wrong?
The model is wrong, Dr.
Fonke. You don't have 5 players. Probably
you have sometimes 5 overseas players on 11, playing,
Yeah,
5
that's
of
what I'm
them.
saying. So, and every team has 5 overseas players.
Yeah.
More than
overseas players.
More than 60% of the team,
Yeah.
I mean, sorry, about 40% of the team is overseas players. And if you look even at in the IPL, they allow 4 players, but even then you have a lot more teams in the IPL. So it works out okay because you still have exposure for all your local talent, but you don't have the same for the West Indies.
But when you look at the Dr. Fontaine, there are 6 teams. So you probably don't even have more than 20 people to choose from for the West Indies. When you look at it, you don't have more than 20 people to choose from. I mean, when you look at our own Ali Kafanaz, he's been struggling big time. In fact, he's lucky to still be playing. If we're being honest, he's lucky.
He struggled this series. And
his strike rate is even below 100. I mean, night before he made 8 of 10 balls. Last weekend, he made 29 runs, 2 innings out of 38 balls. That's not going to cut it in T20 if you have a strike rate of 80 and 90. You have to be making runs at a certain level. But what I'm saying, the guy from Barbados, Allen, doesn't look so bad, Kadim Allen.
Yes.
But again, you have to give them a chance to play. You have to give them a chance. Even
What about,
young me, huh?
what about the Sibo? What about the bowling department?
Even that, you look at Matthew Ford, who played for the West Indies. You notice after the second game he hasn't played. His
Right.
economy rate was 11-12 per over. So they've dropped him since after the second or third game.
And Hayden Walsh, I've not seen Hayden Walsh.
He's played one game. He's played one game.
Incredible. So that means they're not even looking at these players. And I would
Well,
think.
exactly. So
But the thing is this,
well, look,
he's
even
a leg,
Andrew.
he's a
Andrew
leg
made a
spinner.
50, he started, and then he got dropped. He hadn't played again. Joel Andrew.
Yeah, he's a leg spinner, Sibo. All right, the young guy, leg spinner, and we need, leg spin. I'm just amazed that Walsh, and he can field. He's a good player. He's a good individual, a good guy.
He's one of the best fielders in Caribbean. In
Yeah,
fact,
I'm
I'll
telling
put him in
you.
the top 2 or 3 easily. But what I'm
I
saying,
just
it is
cannot
not
understand
too many
that.
foreigners, and then you have guys who like Bravo on the
Oh.
field when they shouldn't be there. Narayan pelting like hell, who shouldn't be playing. Sunil Narayan. I don't think he
Sibo.
hasn't played for the last 2 games.
Just now, I want to is now after last year, Sebastian. If Narayan is he available for West Indies right now?
Well, as I said, I don't think I've consistently said that. I don't think he wants to play because
You're
you'll be
afraid?
scrutiny. If you play international sport, the umpires will report you. You
No,
watch
but,
Narayan.
but he's been under scrutiny lately.
Yeah.
In the CPL, I saw a few. I saw at least 2 articles questioning
But
his
obviously,
action.
but if you watch him in action, watch that ball, watch the action, man. Let's come on now. Let us face it.
The man never stop pelting. Narayan never stop pelting. Narayan, the pelter, full stop. He never stop pelting. Yeah. So when I hear people saying, you hear Badre and Bishop and them saying the top spin and the great spinner. I say,
Yeah, the great spinner.
The guy that bowl, the guy pelting like hell, and they're talking about this big spinner. Narayan.
So how is Akel doing now? How you find Akel?
Akel, you mean
Hussein?
Well, you don't find he doesn't take too many wickets. That's the problem I have with him. He doesn't take. Yeah, he doesn't take many wickets.
True.
Akil Hussein, he doesn't take many wickets. You look at all the other spinners, like the guy from St. Lucia, the back of the hands, the top of the table now.
Yeah,
You
back of the hand.
You have a 40-something-year-old man captain in a team. What's in the it's one guy there? That guy should be on the field. I mean, Ibrahim Tahir. So I just find something.
But we also have a record as well, though. 156s from
Puran.
From Puran.
Yeah. Well, if you look at some of these boundaries, they bring them in all the time, and some of the boundaries are too short.
True.
For instance, when they played in St. Kitts, some of the boundaries were 50
But
yards.
I have talked about that before. I have a problem with that. Everything is standardization.
Yeah.
Cricket should be standardized.
That was a fist.
A football field is what, a 40 meter? It is that everywhere. You cannot have one boundary being 60 meters, another one being 50, another one being 30. That makes absolutely no sense to me. Any official international test ground should have the same dimensions for the boundaries. I don't like that idea of cutting down the boundaries, to me, because all sixes are not equal. And that is the problem. All sixes are not equal, so it makes no sense to me that is allowed in an age of standardization when everything's supposed to be standardized, so that that you move from country to country, from continent to continent. It is constant, it's the same. And we don't have that in cricket. And I've been talking about that for a while, and I just don't understand why. It defies reason as to why that is allowed to happen.
You're correct. Well, there are 3 more matches to go. There's one tomorrow night, there's one on Saturday morning, and then Sunday night, and then the playoffs start next week Tuesday.
Right.
So you have next week Tuesday and Wednesday, next Friday, and the finals next week Sunday.
So the playoffs is just the top 2 teams, right?
No. The top 4. How it goes, the first 2 teams play. So the team that wins that match goes straight to the final. Then the 3rd and 4th team will play on Wednesday next week. The winner of that game will then play the team that lost.
That lost to the okay.
And
it's
then
like the IPL.
Right. So that's how it goes. 1 and 2 play, 3 and 4 play. So 3 and 4, you lose, you go home. Now, if you're 1 and 2, even if you lose, you still have a chance of getting to the final.
So Sibo, just quickly, Sri Lanka. Don't you love
Yeah.
love Sri Lanka the way they're playing?
Very well. And you know, this guy has recorded Mendes.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
he scored in the history of cricket. First guy in the first eight test matches to score 50 or more in every match.
In
and the
every
way he
match.
batted last night, nothing can say he mightn't get 100 tonight. Eh? The way he
Yes,
looked.
yes, Bovi and Angelo, I think they
Yeah,
are poised to
Angelo
get 100. But what I like about Sri Lanka is where West Indies should be in 5 years' time, I think, where they are now. I'm
In
excited.
fact, if
I'm
you
very
look at the first 7, Dr. Fountain, every single one of them is averaging over 40. You know? Every single, the first 7, yeah. West Indies has nobody averaging 40. Nobody. No batsman.
That's what I'm saying. I see West Indies getting there in 5, 6 years' time, probably 10
Yeah.
years. But I like
You
Sri
think
Lanka.
so?
I like that team.
That is Ronald Lander's team, Sri Lanka.
Sri Lanka. Okay.
Yeah, well, you know, in the days Sri Lanka was really top. You remember Sangakkara, Jayawardena, Aravinda De Silva, all these guys. You remember Ranatunga. They won the World Cup. In fact, it was in what 86.
I've never stopped supporting West Indies, regardless of what's happening. I'm a West Indian, but I'll always support them.
Yeah. Yeah, well, as I said, I hope Kohli makes 100 tonight. Honestly, that's why I hope he made. They start at 12 tonight. India and Bangladesh, 12 o'clock tonight. They start the second test, and 12:30 tonight. It continues between New Zealand. Look like they're going to be chasing a big score against Sri Lanka. So
Sri Lanka,
a lot of
over 305 for 3.
Yeah, they could be chasing 400-500 runs. It looks so. So New Zealand. That's it. A lot of these teams don't do well in Asia. Eh? A lot of Australia, England, a lot of these teams struggle when they go to the subcontinent. So,
and in one day contest, England came back and won the third, and I think the fourth one is tomorrow.
Tomorrow, yeah. And then England goes to Pakistan in 2 weeks' time. The first test is on October the 8th. England against Pakistan. Anyway.
So when next does West Indies play, Sibo?
In November, no, we have England coming before that. The 1 day against England and T20s. And then you have test matches end of November. Yeah, England coming sometime in October, November to play T20s and 50 over. And then after that, Bangladesh plays 2 test matches, 3 T20s and ODIs, none in Dominica. Anyway, Dr. Fontaine, your program comes after, and I think we given signs that we should get off there now.
Okay,
so on behalf of Ronald Lander, Emmanuel Loblack, and Dr. Thompson Fontaine, we say good night, everybody. Stay safe. We know the weather has not been so good. Stay safe, everybody. You're looking for your melon? Check Steve close to Social Security. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
When you want the bed, what you do? Shop at SCS. Better than the red. Go shop at SCS. And they all compare. Shop at SCS. You get more for what they say. Shop at SCS. Shop at SCS. Yeah. Shop at SCS. Shop at SCS. What they say. Shop at SCS. SCS family, customer friendly. With free locations, it's so convenient. And our prices, that's where you belong. Oh, tell your mama, tell your papa, shop at SCS. Tell your son and your daughter, shop at SCS. Auntie, nene, and cousin, friend, open power, all of them. Grandma, grandpa, couple, neighbor, girlfriend, boyfriend, side. What? Shop at SCS. Shop at SCS. Shop at SCS. Shop at SCS.
Check us out at Pottersville, High Street, and downtown Rose.
Rudolph Thomas Enterprise in Portsmouth, your suppliers of building materials and hardware products. Over 20 years experience in the business. Rudolph Thomas has lumber and plywood, Portland and tile cement, steel.
Thank you.